I spent 2 weeks on that presentation. 2 weeks. I had the data, the charts, the projections. I knew every detail. An hour after the meeting, I asked my colleague what he thought of the new market entry strategy. He couldn't remember it. He remembered a joke someone made about the coffee, but my core message? Gone. Why doesn't the important stuff stick?
Because you gave him information, but you didn't give him a story.
That's the problem. It was a strategy meeting, not a campfire. It needed to be serious, professional, full of facts.
And that's the belief that causes the problem. Most people think that in a professional setting, data is the most persuasive tool, that a story is some kind of decorative extra.
Yes, it's the cake, not the ingredients.
That sounds logical, but the truth is the opposite. The story isn't the decoration, it's the plate that holds the meal together. Without it, the information just falls apart. The real problem isn't that your data was boring. The problem is that the human brain doesn't store lists, it stores journeys.
Journeys? What does that even mean in a business context?
It means we can't understand a destination until we know the starting point. You probably began your presentation with the answer, with your new strategy.
Of course. I wanted to be direct, get straight to the point.
You showed them the destination, but they had no idea where they were coming from. The first step in any memorable message is to establish the starting point, the normal world.
The normal world. So I should have started by talking about what we were doing before, our old strategy?
Precisely. A snapshot of reality as it was, a stable situation. It feels simple, even a little slow, but it's critical. It gives the listener a mental map. It establishes a baseline.
A baseline. So instead of saying, here is our new Q3 strategy, I should have said, for the past 2 years, our strategy has been X. Our monthly growth was consistently Y.
Exactly. You are painting a picture of a predictable world. This is important because the brain needs something to measure against. It creates a quiet, unconscious question in the listener's mind. Okay, this is how things are. So what?
Right. That makes sense. It gives context. But it still feels a little introductory. The important part is the change, the new idea.
And that's the second turning point. Once you've established the baseline, the normal world, something has to happen. That predictable world needs to break.
Break? That sounds dramatic.
It doesn't have to be a disaster. It can be a discovery, a new piece of data, a competitor's move, a surprise customer request. It's a moment that creates a problem or an opportunity that the old, normal world was not prepared for. It's a disruption.
A disruption. Okay, so in my presentation, the baseline was our old strategy giving us consistent growth. The disruption could be the new competitor that entered the market last month.
Yes. Can you feel the difference? First you say, everything was stable and predictable. Then you say, but then this happened. Suddenly your audience isn't just listening to facts. They are leaning in. They are engaged in a puzzle. Why? Because the disruption creates tension. The old way of doing things is no longer enough. A question now exists. What are we going to do about this?
And my new strategy is the answer to that question.
You're getting there, but you can't just present the strategy as a list of actions. That's where most people fail. They create the tension and then resolve it with a boring bullet point list.
But the bullet points are the plan. They're the solution.
A solution has no meaning without its result. The third and final piece is to show the new world, the new normal that exists because of the change. This is the consequence.
The consequence. So the result of my plan.
More than just the result. It's the after picture that you compare to the before picture from your baseline. You started with, our world looked like this. You introduce a disruption. Now you must show them, because of what we did, our world now looks like this.
So the old strategy gave us 2% growth. A competitor arrived. We implemented our new strategy, and now our growth is projected at 4%, and we've captured a new segment of the market.
Much better. You've just told a simple, complete story. Before, disruption. After. A stable baseline, a moment of change, and the consequence of that change. That structure is how the human mind makes sense of the world. It's not just a business formula, it's a life formula. Think about any update you give. A job interview, explaining a project to your team. It always works.
I can see how that structure is more engaging, but it still feels risky. If I talk about a disruption in a business review, it sounds like I'm highlighting a failure, like I lost control. Smart people are supposed to have everything planned. If this is so powerful, why do so many smart people just present the facts?
Because they mistakenly believe that showing control is the same as showing strength. They present a perfect, logical path from A to B because it makes them look like they had all the answers from the start.
Exactly. It shows you're competent.
Does it? Or does it create a sterile, unbelievable narrative? The most powerful leaders don't hide the disruption. They frame it. They show that the disruption wasn't a failure, but a catalyst.
A catalyst? A reason for the change?
Yes, the disruption isn't the story of your failure. It's the story of why your new idea is necessary. The competitor entering the market wasn't your fault, but it was the catalyst that forced your team to become more innovative. The unexpected client problem wasn't a sign of weakness. It was the catalyst that led to a better quality control process. When you hide the disruption, you hide the meaning. You hide the why.
So the disruption actually makes my solution more valuable. It's not a problem in the story, it is the story.
Now you see it. The whole system works together. The baseline gives the context. The disruption creates the meaning. The consequence delivers the value. It's not 3 separate steps. It's one single machine for making your idea stick.
It's a machine for making sense of things. Before, my presentations were just a collection of parts. Here's a chart, here's a number, here's a conclusion. There was no connection.
And your listener's brain had to do all the work of trying to assemble those parts. Most of the time, it won't bother. It will just discard them. But when you present the journey from the old baseline through the disruption to the new consequence, the idea becomes coherent.
Coherent? It holds together. It feels complete.
It feels true, because life isn't a series of bullet points. It's a series of moments where our normal world is disrupted, and we have to adapt to a new reality. Your job isn't to present data. It's to make the data coherent.
Let me try again with my original presentation. I wouldn't start with the new strategy. I'd start with our baseline. For the past year, we relied on our old marketing channels, and they worked well.
Good. A stable world.
Then the disruption. In Q2, we noticed engagement from our key demographic dropped by 30%. For the first time, our reliable channels were failing. That problem became a catalyst for a complete rethink.
Excellent. You've created tension and purpose. So we launched the new strategy, focusing on video content for new platforms. And the consequence? We not only recovered the 30% loss, but we also grew our audience in that demographic by another 15%. Our brand is now stronger because of that initial problem. Now, how does that feel?
It feels like a real story. It's not just a dry report anymore. It makes the whole strategy feel inevitable, smart. The story is now coherent. It makes sense.
And it's memorable, because you didn't just give your colleague a set of facts to remember, you gave them a journey to follow.
I was so focused on being correct, on having the right data, the right answer. I thought my job was to prove I was smart.
And what do you think your job is now?
To make people understand, to take them on the journey with me, so they arrive at the conclusion themselves.
And understanding is the beginning of trust.